Hello viewers, welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a show where we'll provide you fresh insights into South Asia's geopolitical, strategic and security situation. Let's begin the show with the headlines first. Terror attack on pilgrims in Riasi, 9 killed, over 30 injured as terrorists ambush bus. Terror strikes spread to Doda, Kathua after Riasi incident in Jammu and Kashmir. CRPF Jawan killed, 2 terrorists neutralized. And Pakistan's annual budget sets 3.6% growth but fails to impress Pakistanis. June 9th marked a momentous occasion for India, as Narendra Modi was sworn in for a historic third term. However, the ceremony was marred by a tragic event. During the proceedings, news emerged of a terrorist attack in the Riasi district of Jammu and Kashmir. Terrorists targeted a bus carrying pilgrims, opening fire and causing the vehicle to veer off course and plunge into a gorge. The attack resulted in the deaths of 9 individuals and left over 30 injured. Our report delves into the details of this incident. The bus journey from Shiv Gauri Cave Temple, nestled in the Riasi district of Jammu and Kashmir, was supposed to be a peaceful pilgrimage. The vehicle was en route to Katra, a town renowned for the revered Mata Vaishno Devi temple. As the bus navigated through dense forests and rugged hilly terrain, tranquility turned into chaos. Suddenly, from the shadows of the nearby forest, terrorists launched a vicious ambush. Positioned at a bend in the road, they opened fire on the bus. A bullet struck the driver, causing him to lose control of the vehicle, which then plunged down a steep gorge.
तब से फायर चलता रहा और बस हमारी जो है थोड़ी सी आगे जाकर खाई में पलट गई। 5-6 राउंड गिरने के बाद एक बड़ा पत्थर में जो है बस फंस गया और रुक गया। और सभी लोग जो है छोटी लोग हैं, उसमें कोई पड़ा था बेसुध, कोई इधर कोई बाहर कोई बस में, और सभी लोगों को एकदम जो है चोट लगा हुआ था। और फायर होता रहा, तब भी जो है 10-15 मिनट तक और फायर हुआ।
9 people were killed and over 30 others were injured. Many of them were Hindu pilgrims from different parts of India, including Uttar Pradesh, Delhi and Rajasthan.
रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन जो है वो अभी कंप्लीट किया जा चुका है। 9 आर feared dead right now and 33 इंजर्ड हुए हैं। उनको इमीडिएटली नारायणा हॉस्पिटल और डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल रियासी के लिए एम्बुलेंसेस को निकाल दिया गया है।
The Resistance Front, or TRF, an offshoot of the Pakistan-backed terror group Lashkar-e-Taiba, claimed responsibility for the attack. TRF was founded in 2019 and has been involved in numerous attacks since then. In a notable incident on September 13th of the previous year, a confrontation between security forces and terrorists in Anantnag district resulted in the death of TRF commander Uzair Khan alongside 2 senior Indian Army officers and a Jammu and Kashmir police officer. In 2023, India officially designated TRF as a terrorist organization. In a message, TRF has warned of more such attacks on tourists and non-locals, calling the Katra bus ambush the beginning of a renewed campaign. The news of this brutal assault broke just as BJP leader Narendra Modi was taking the oath for his third term as India's Prime Minister. Experts suggest that the attack was orchestrated by Pakistan to instill fear and perpetuate the notion that Jammu and Kashmir remain unsafe.
One of the most important days because a new cabinet under the new Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji is taking over, and at this time lot of VIPs from across the world are today attending the oath taking ceremony. At this point of time, if a terror attack takes place in Jammu and Kashmir, it's a very clear indication that Pakistan is trying to tell the world that Jammu Kashmir even now is not safe, and they can carry out terror attack whenever required there.
The Indian security forces have launched a massive search operation to nab the attackers. Drones were also deployed to scan the forested area from above.
ड्रोन्स भी यूज हो रहे हैं. हमने अपनी 5 टीम्स बनाई हैं, जो कि ये सारे एडजॉइनिंग आप देख ही रहे हैं. ये काफी फॉरेस्टेड एरिया है, काफी हाइट में है. ये पीछे की जितनी भी पीक्स हैं, इसके बैक साइड पे अरनास का एरिया टच करता है. राजौरी का बॉर्डर है ये, और वहां पे भी हमारी एसओजी की टीम, साथ में सीएपीएफ और हमारी जेएनके पुलिस, हम सब एक प्रॉपर एक टीम बना के ये पूरा एरिया कोम करते हुए इसी स्पॉट पे सारे मिले.
Such targeted attacks reflect the growing frustration among Pakistan-backed terrorists. As Jammu and Kashmir experience rapid development, including infrastructure projects, increased tourism, and expanding business opportunities, these advancements directly challenge Pakistan's agenda. Consequently, Pakistan seeks to create an atmosphere of uncertainty by targeting migrant workers, security forces, non-locals, and tourists. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is grappling with a surge in violence marked by 3 separate attacks over the span of 3 days, intensifying concerns over regional security. Just a day after the Riasi terror attack, terrorists attacked a joint checkpoint in Doda district, injuring 6 people, including 5 soldiers. Shortly after, another attack occurred in Kathua district, where 2 terrorists opened fire in a village. Both the terrorists were neutralized, but a civilian was injured and a CRPF personnel was killed. The region is now on high alert and a search operation is ongoing. We have this report.
The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is experiencing a surge in violence, with 3 separate attacks occurring over 3 days, raising significant concerns about regional security. On the evening of June 11th, in the Doda district, a fierce encounter broke out between security forces and terrorists after the latter attacked a joint checkpost of the 4 Rashtriya Rifles on the Bhadarwa Pathankot road. This attack resulted in injuries to 5 Indian Army soldiers and a special police officer. The terror group Kashmir Tigers, linked to Jaish-e-Mohammed, claimed responsibility for this assault.
कल रात को जब हमारे नाके ने चेकिंग शुरू की थी, और साथ ही साथ जो हमारे संतरी हैं, उन्होंने जब सस्पिशियस थोड़ी मूवमेंट देखी तो उसको चैलेंज किया. उस चैलेंज के बाद में वहां से फायर आया. फायर का फिर एक्सचेंज होता रहा. अराउंड 1 आवर 1.5 आवर तक एक्सचेंज ऑफ फायर चलता रहा. हमारे जो जवान हैं, आर्मी के और पुलिस के, दोनों ने इसमें डट के मुकाबला किया है, और उस इलाके को आज के डेट में, अभी के टाइम पे, हम लोगों ने सर्च करना शुरू कर दिया है. पहाड़ी और जंगल वाला इलाका है, सर्च में थोड़ा सा टाइम उस वजह से लग रहा है. आर्मी और एसओजी जो पुलिस है, हम लोग मिलकर उसको सर्च कर रहे हैं.
As Doda grappled with the aftermath of the attack, another violent incident unfolded in the distant Saida village of Kathua district. 2 terrorists opened fire when alarmed villagers reported their presence. In the ensuing gunfight, 1 terrorist was killed, while the search for the second terrorist continues. A paramilitary soldier also lost his life during this exchange.
चूँकि उसमें एक आतंकवादी ने उन पर ग्रेनेड लॉन्च करने की कोशिश की और एक्सचेंज ऑफ फायर में वो टेररिस्ट मारा गया. तो एक टेररिस्ट मारा गया है, और जो दूसरा आतंकवादी है वो इस इलाके में छिपे होने की उसकी खबर है, और अभी
Pakistan's support for terrorist groups in Jammu and Kashmir is part of a broader strategy of proxy warfare to exert pressure on India. Security experts believe these recent attacks are orchestrated by Pakistan to undermine India and counter its claims of peace and stability in the region.
The timing of the attack was such where the maximum payoffs were achieved by Pakistan. There were 7 heads of state present, national and international media was present, maximum embarrassment was caused. The reason is very clear. Pakistan wants to tell the world that there has been no peace and tranquility in Jammu and Kashmir as claimed by the government of India. There was a huge participation in the recent elections. Pakistan wants to say that all that notwithstanding, situation is not okay and that Jammu Kashmir remains a disputed area.
The 3 terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir highlight that the battle against terrorism is far from over. Despite India's best efforts, peace in Kashmir remains fragile, largely due to Pakistan's continued patronage and promotion of terrorism in the valley. Pakistan remains a central hub for anti-India forces, nurturing terrorism through its ISI and supporting groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed.
In less than 3 days, 3 separate terror attacks were reported from Jammu's Riasi, Kathua and Doda region. These incidents have underscored the persistent security challenges and the urgent need for comprehensive counter-terrorism strategies. To delve into this critical discussion, today we are joined by Colonel Dr. DPK Pillai, a distinguished former Indian Army officer. Colonel Pillai has served in both the Ministry of Defence Secretariat and the National Security Council Secretariat and has extensive experience as a military advisor with the ICRC in the Middle East. Currently, he is a research fellow at IDSA. Welcome, Colonel Pillai.
Hello.
In 3 days, we have seen 3 terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir which highlight a persistent security challenge. In your view, what are the main factors contributing to this recent surge in past few months, particularly in the border areas, Jammu region?
Pakistan is battling a crisis on its own territories. There's a lot of problems there, internal, and they needed, you've seen the pattern right from the very beginning. They needed to create a narrative of a unstable India or the India that is threatening to, and that's the reason why they need to create this kind of a problem on this part of the other side. After a period of relative calm, you've seen how different the two Kashmir, the trajectories have worked out. You're seeing what the protests are in POK and in Gilgit-Baltistan, and then to see the relative calm and prosperity that is here, they needed to disrupt that, and that's one of the reasons why it's been engineered. And post Article 370's abrogation, there has been a steady improvement, and there's been a law and order situation is under control. The elections have been held peacefully. Members of parliament have been elected, and so they needed to show this. That's the reason why they engineered this attack. It's also could be to prevent, the Amarnath Yatra is going to come up. So to get an attention of the world onto Kashmir once again, because they thrived on that for all these years, creating a problem of the fake narrative of Kashmir. If you look at it, Kashmir was never part of Pakistan. They tried to grab it in 1947, whereas the territory they had, if they have to be really raising an issue, it should be about Bangladesh, which was a part of Pakistan, which is broken away from them, and that was willingly a part of Pakistan. Here, Kashmir never acceded to them. The people of Kashmir also, and the kind of investment that they put in being a very porous border, this is something that they are very good at, and this is something that is engineered clearly by them. And I'm sure the government and the security forces will take control of it.
Pakistan's former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has been calling for dialogue with India. How do you see this apparent contradiction playing out?
The India-Pakistan relations has been at an all-time low, and Shehbaz Sharif has definitely not lived up to the potential that he could have actually, so it looks very hypocritical. In the sense, even if it is a call for, they are not the ones who are calling the shots. You remember while Nawaz Sharif and Bajpayee were meeting, and there was this Kargil war that happened. So it's firstly it's hypocritical, and secondly I really don't know whether he's capable of actually initiating something without the knowledge of the army, and I don't think it can be really taken seriously.
The Taliban takeover of Afghanistan in 2021 raised concerns about a potential safe haven for terror groups. How do you see this development impacting the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly regarding the role of Pakistan-based terror groups?
We've always had this problem with a regime that is hostile in these countries. If you recall, when the Soviet Union had withdrawn from Afghanistan, it's when actually the problem in Kashmir, the conflagration took place. So it's always important for us to understand that the difficulties that we face when we have hostile groups in power in Afghanistan, they may provide safe haven. They may also look to actually, there might be a kind of a spillover effect. There could also be a support for anti-India groups that are there positioned in this thing. So we are walking very cautious. We can see the pattern. We're actually maintaining good relations in terms of providing them support in whatever way we can, and sure we should be very cautious, and there's something that the security establishment is aware of.
Moving forward, what strategies can India employ to address the root causes of terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir alongside counter-terrorism efforts?
So India is facing a very, very tough walk. You have a cross-border sponsored terrorist activity going on. It was artificially induced. Of course, there were some mistakes on our part, and which has been, remedial measures have been taken in the sense that you can actually see the way. I think the key lies, if you compare two countries that are born on 15th of August, 14th of August, 1947, we had issues, similar issues we had problems of East Pakistan, and how did they suppress them? By Operation Searchlight, killing millions of them, displacing them. Whereas in India, I believe that our strength lies in our democracy. We believe in mainstreaming our opposition. And that's the reason why you find former militant or insurgent leaders who have actually held positions of, in the democracy. Our strength lies in our country. So I think the key is about strengthening the democratic process, giving them a voice, ensuring that everyone, their basic needs and requirements are met, strengthening the economic opportunities that are there, because everyone aspires for a better life, for not only for their own generation, but the future generation. And that is something India has been providing, and also been providing a kind of recognition of the fact that human rights have no boundaries, have no limitations in terms of your color, religion or creed. And I think that is the strength of this country that it provides, and I think these are the key areas that we are focusing on: providing economic opportunities, providing a political voice, providing a very clear, stable educational and other avenues that allows them to progress, and that human security angle that India has been looking at, where we are delivering justice and development, and all this thing that a good human life needs to have is being delivered here, and that is very clearly visible on across the border. Contrast is visible, just like North Korea and South Korea, the contrast is visible. The same contrast is visible between POK and in India, where you find a country prospering, and you find education, girls getting educated, becoming doctors. These are fundamental. So that is something that is required to be kept alive and maintained.
Do you believe there are any viable paths for genuine dialogue and cooperation between India and Pakistan on the Kashmir issue, considering the current situation?
If you look at the history of our country, we've always been trying to walk this tightrope between Pakistan's continued flagration and violations against our genuine concerns, and how we've been very accommodative of them, giving them a lot of, in fact, after 1971 war, when we took about 90,000 prisoners, and we ensured that those prisoners were in our custody, we didn't allow the vengeance to take the streets like we could have handed over them to the East Pakistanis, but we've shown a lot of concession. The Simla Agreement is actually we tried to pick a lesson from Versailles Treaty, where bad conditions in terms of treaty led to the Second World War. Here we were very generous, and we were very kind to repatriate all the 90,000 prisoners that surrendered, and we've given them the most favored nation status. We've provided them all assistance, and everything, but they've actually not walked the talk. So for them, the Pakistani army controls the country, and for them to have an enemy in a country like India is something that justifies their existence. The army's existence is justified in this country. So we really not, we have not been found wanting in terms of providing them. They've actually backstabbed every time that you actually been nice to them. So, you know, even unleashing after the 1971 war, Ziaul Haq created this by bleeding us by 1,000 cuts. So that is a policy that they need to retract from. They need to understand that shared prosperity or a shared future is best attained when you share the values that you have. When you share your, you know, a vision for a future which is not based on violence, it's not based on enmity, it's based on collaboration, it's based on cooperation, is based on, you know, because definitely India and Pakistan are not on the same page in many ways. We don't share the same opinion. We don't share the way the people are treated, you know, we don't share the same constitutional values. In their own country, minorities are harassed and there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of financial mismanagement and there are issues. So I think Pakistan needs to walk the talk in terms of making sure that they are committed to understanding India's security concerns, working together, because then you actually have a as a subcontinent, you rise together as one. You know, it's something that we share a common history, we share a lot of common values, our habits, our food, our taste for music, our taste for culture, dresses, everything is there. So why can't we share the same future, you know, an idea of a future? I think that is where Pakistan can really, you know, help us.
Thank you so much, Colonel Pillai. Pakistan has officially unveiled its annual budget, setting an ambitious target for economic growth at 3.6% for this fiscal year. Despite these projections, the budget has been met with a wave of skepticism and criticism from the Pakistani public and economic experts alike. Take a look at the complexities of the budget and what it means for the country's economic future.
Pakistan unveiled its national budget for the fiscal year ending in June 2025 this week, aiming for 3.6% economic growth as it seeks a new bailout agreement from the International Monetary Fund. The country has set an ambitious tax revenue target of 13 trillion rupees for the year starting July 1, representing a nearly 40% increase from the current year to bolster its case for an IMF bailout. The revenue goals for the fiscal year through June 2025 outlined by Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb in Parliament align with analyst forecasts. Total spending is projected to be 18.87 trillion rupees. Aurangzeb stated that next year's growth target is 3.6% with inflation expected at 12%. He emphasized that Pakistan aims to expand its tax base to prevent overburdening current taxpayers in achieving these targets.
माली साल 2024-25 के लिए इक्तिसादी तरक्की की शरह 3.6% रहने का इम्कान है। अफराते ज़र की औसत शरह 12% मुतवक्के है। बजट खसारा GDP का 5.9%, जबकि प्राइमरी सरप्लस GDP का 1% होगा। 2122 अरब रुपए दफाई ज़रूरियात के लिए फ़राहम किए जाएंगे और सिविल इंतज़ामिया के अखराजात के लिए 839 अरब रुपए मुख्तस किए जा रहे हैं। पेंशन के अखराजात के लिए 1014 अरब रुपए मुख्तस किए गए हैं। बिजली, गैस और दीगर शोबों की सब्सिडी के तौर पर 1363 अरब रुपए की रकम मुख्तस की जा रही है।
According to analysts, the tax burden has increased significantly in this year's budget. Because of the seizable informal economy, this increase will also have an inflationary effect. Many residents across Pakistan remain unconvinced. The prevailing sentiment on the streets and across social media platforms reflects a deep-seated concern about the feasibility of the government's targets and the potential impact of new taxes and austerity measures on everyday life. Critics argue that the budget fails to address the structural issues plaguing the economy, such as unemployment, poverty, and energy shortages.
बजट जिस तरह होता है कि लफ्ज़ों का गोरख धंधा होता है, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि मौजूदा बजट भी लफ्ज़ों का गोरख धंधा था। आज का बजट जो पेश किया गया वो बज़ाहिर अच्छा नज़र आ रहा है, बज़ाहिर समझ में नहीं आ रहा, लेकिन जब समझ में आएगा तो मेरे ख्याल से पानी सर से ऊंचा हो चुका होगा और महंगाई का एक तूफ़ान आ जाएगा जिससे आवाम के लिए मुश्किलात होंगी। और ये सब यूँ होगा कि जाहिर सी बात है आपका बजट मंजूर तो करती हुकूमत करती, लेकिन साथ आपको IMF की पॉलिसीज़ भी देखनी होती है, वर्ल्ड बैंक की पॉलिसीज़ भी देखनी होती है। अगर IMF और वर्ल्ड बैंक आपके कर्ज़ों पे उतार चढ़ाव कर दे, आप तो आवाम पर महंगाई का बोझ दर बोझ जो है मुसल्लत कर देंगे।
Residents in Pakistan are skeptical about the feasibility of these targets and express deep concerns about the repercussions of new taxes and austerity measures on their daily lives. The prevalent sentiment both on the streets and across social media platforms highlights a lack of confidence in the government's ability to address the economic challenges people have been enduring.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We'll be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Shivangi Mishra signing off on behalf of the entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.